Hello again, Gills fans, and welcome back to another episode of Gills in the Blood TV. It's Monday review time as I look back at Saturday's 2-2 draw with high-flying Wycombe Wanderers, the very definition of a game of two halves, 2-0 down inside 20 minutes. That was the scoreline at the break, and I think if we'd been offered a draw at half-time, all the Gills fans would have taken it. Players and staff would have probably taken it, but such is this game. We could have probably nicked it right at the end with a chance for Josh Parker, but in between that there was a good goal from Tom Eaves and Parker himself, which earned us a point. 7 wins from the last 9 in the league, which stands us in good stead with a busy Christmas period coming up. But in terms of first period, I just thought we were really sluggish, really poor, reactive, second to most things. We only made one change from the Scunthorpe win, which was understandable. That was Alex Lacey replacing the injured Max Amar. But I just thought that Alex unfortunately looked like he hadn't played regularly for quite a while. Back in at centre half, the last time he got a run in the team, he was in the defensive midfield role and was excellent against Portsmouth a couple of months ago. But for me, he just looked a little bit off the pace. A couple of times he got caught under the ball when going for headers, and that led to a good chance for Fred on your Dimner early in the second half, which Thomas Holy made a good save from. And fair play to Thomas, because I think if that had gone in, that would have been 3-0 and that would have probably been game over. But he grew into the game, Alex, and got better as it went on. I'm sure he's big enough to admit it weren't his best performance, but he weren't the only one who wasn't quite at it, especially first period. I thought both goals were really avoidable. First one is looks like a punt from Thomas Holy that doesn't really go anywhere, and then for some reason Barry Fuller, who's been immaculate for most of the season, decided to try and keep it in play and headed it back into a danger area. To compound that, then Dean Parrott doesn't really jump with his man, and they managed to get a flick on back to, of all people, ex-Gillingham loanee Adam El Abd. And for a centre half, you have to say it was a really good finish from about 10 yards, drilled into the bottom corner, and Thomas had no chance. And for the second one, it was a poor kick from their goalkeeper that started it. And if Elliot List had had a better first touch, we'd have probably been on the way on their goal. But Elliot missed it. It sort of went through his legs or over his knee, and from there was a ball over the top, and Gabriel Zaquani missed his kick, and then we allowed the cross in too easily. Mark Byrne got back in and done his tracking duty, but his header was poor and it went back into a dangerous area for Nathan Tyson, and again it was a really smart finish, but we had so many chances for both goals to get rid before the good finishes came. And at half time, myself and Boz and Stocky said it looked like it was going to be a really long way back. As I've already mentioned, I think if we'd been offered a point, we'd have snapped your arm off, and all we said was that the good thing was that we were shooting towards the Rainham end, which generally we're better towards, and the fans tend to try and suck it in. And we did twice. First goal, long ball, free kick from Dean Parrott, which Josh Parker managed to be involved without being involved, managed to usher his centre half out of the way, and the ball came through and said to Stocky at the time on the Match Day Live and Boz, it all seemed really slow motion, but it eventually landed at Tom Eaves and he managed to chest it down and poke it under the keeper, and out of nowhere we were suddenly back in it at 2-1 with around 35 minutes to play, and yeah, gave us every chance. And then 20 minutes later, another Dean Parrott set piece. For some reason, Josh Parker was allowed the freedom of the penalty box, which was fine for us, and it was a great header into the top corner, which got us level. And that man then right at the end could have won it for us. Brandon Hanlon came on as a substitute last sort of 5 minutes, and he was really bright in that short period of time. Got on the ball a couple of times, and he done well right at the end with about a minute to go, and got the ball in the corner and managed to get it under control and out of his feet and slide it across to Josh Parker. In hindsight, and he does say in the paper he could have probably had a touch, but he decided to go first time and flashed a shot wide. And it would have been a bit of a smash and grab, I think, if we had nicked all 3 points. I mean, I'd have loved it, but looking at the game as a whole, I think a draw was the fairest result. But yeah, talking about Josh Parker, there's been a lot written about him recently, and there is today, so I'm going to do a little in focus on him right now. As we all know, Josh was left out of the squad for a few games a month or two back. He and a few others were done for various reasons. Steve Lovell was very public in letting everyone know that. Some of the team had been told to go away and come back when they were sorted out. But Lovell says about Josh Parker's performance on Saturday, he is intelligent, he is clever, and with ability as well, he's an excellent player. I'm pleased that he has come back and been close to the Josh Parker of old. And then talking about the equaliser, he goes on to say he can pop up with goals like that. It was a great header, and the assist he got without actually touching the ball for Tom Eaves' goal. People wouldn't have seen that. He edged the centre half out of the way. It fell to Tom, and it's a goal. I thought Josh Parker was deservedly man of the match at the weekend, playing in a role that's probably not completely familiar to him, which was the number 10, because Regan Charles Cook's still coming back from an injury layoff. But I thought he wanted the ball all the time. He was trying to use possession intelligently. He was trying to drive us forward when he could get it out of his feet and run towards. He can play with his back to goal, which helps as well, being a striker by trade. And he's one for me that, although sometimes he tries stuff and it doesn't quite come up, he'll keep trying and doing it again and again. He'll keep working hard, he'll keep wanting the ball, he'll never shy away. And I think it was just reward that he got the equaliser at the end. And he does have a little bit of a thank you to say to Elliot List. He said they've been putting me on the goalkeeper in set plays recently, and last season I scored from about 7 headers from set plays, sorry. So I didn't understand, but I just do as I'm told. Listy said to me, get off the keeper. He went and stood there for the corner and I scored, so I owe that one to him. Talking about his chance at the end that was already mentioned, he said, I saw the flashing lights, he admitted. I felt if I hit it right, it would go in. I didn't realise how much time I had. When it is a split second, you have already made the choice, and when the ball is coming to you, and as soon as it come across, I just thought I had to hit it first time. Everybody else watching it from a different angle will say I should have taken a touch, but it's gone now. Of course, it's easy for us to sit in the stands and talk about it and say how easy it is and what he should have done, but we can see everything from high up, so we get a better sort of aspect of the game, so to speak. And obviously, if Josh had caught it right and it had flown in the bottom corner, he'd have been a hero. So, small gripe, but we'll take the point, take his man of the match display. And just a bit about, obviously, him being one of those players that was sent away before. Obviously, wasn't done just because he wasn't pulling his weight or anything like that. For me, I had so much going on outside of football. I have the case going on with Red Star, a long-running contractual dispute, and I think after such a long period of time, it had finally taken its toll on me. When I came back, I felt re-energised, and I've been happy with my performances of late, especially since getting back in the side. I'm happy, but I just want to keep the momentum going and get more goals. As long as we're performing well, that's the main thing. So it seems that Steve Lovell took him out for his own benefit. He could see that he was struggling with other things outside of the football team, and if we get a better version of Josh Parker back now, then happy days. In terms of match ratings for everyone, us compared to Luke, right, I'll read Luke's first. So it went Thomas Holy 7.6, Barry Fuller 6.6, Gabriel Zaquani 6.6, Alex Lacey 6, 5.5, Conor Ogilvie 6, 6.5. Then in midfield, Luke went Darren Oldacre 6, we had 5.5. We both gave Mark Burner 6. Luke gave Dean Parrott a 6, we said 5.5. Both gave Josh Parker a 7 and man of the match. Both gave Elliot List a 6. And Luke gave Tom Eaves a 7, we said 6.5. And in terms of substitutes, we both gave Bradley Garmston a 6. Luke decided against rate in Brandon Hanlon, but we gave him a 6 because we thought it was a very short but a very impressive cameo. So not too different at all. And yeah, finally, just a bit about the home support. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk over the last few days with the chairman's letter, and then Steve Lovell coming out and defending his chairman, which he's going to do, obviously. And it seems that the rain of men did have an effect. I thought the atmosphere in and around us was decent for pretty much the whole game. We kept going, we kept urging the boys on. As I said the other day, it's a two-way street. Yes, we need to encourage and support the boys, but at the same time, they have to give us something to shout about. It's not always easy to shout and cheer when it's freezing cold and lashing it down with rain and blowing a gale, and we're 2-0 down. There's a prime example, but the boys kept going, the fans kept going, and we all got our just rewards at the end, which was great to see. And the final paragraph, just to sum it up today, of Luke Cordell's match report. Against a good team and facing an uphill challenge after a lousy start, this was a good point. Bigger challenges await for over Christmas, but the Gills are better placed now with less injuries and buoyed by a comeback at the weekend that few may have expected after a disappointing start. Just read a stat that says that's the 5th time we've been 2-0 down at the break this season in the league. It's the first time that we've avoided defeat, so that's a plus. Obviously, we can't afford to keep giving teams two goal head starts. But it was pleasing to watch the fight and the grit and the determination and the desire and the willingness to get back in, and we more than deserved our point at the end. I tweeted that at full time. We shall be back Thursday or Friday for another weekly roundup and previewing Charlton. I don't know whether we're going to try and get a video in over the Christmas period, because we won't be at Charlton, unfortunately. So there might be some sort of Christmas special if we can get it sorted out, but I won't make any promises. And then obviously we've got Match Day Live, Boxing Day, and then Saturday the 29th. So it's going to be a hectic week or two in terms of Match Day Lives, hopefully, and hopefully we can bring some wins. But for now, that's enough from me. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, liking, sharing, commenting, retweeting, and doing all you do, like I say every time. Again, a very Merry Christmas to everybody, and until next time, up the Gills.